Today's children face a world filled with more tech gizmos and gadgets, more communicate to be entertained, get information, and it all happens without ever seeing or touching another human being. Virtual reality has become commonplace. Adults walk the street talking to phantoms. Teens with wires from their ears cross the street oblivious to cars and the real world. But the real world is still all around us. And parents who want to prepare their children to succeed in life must find creative ways of helping them interact with real people in a physical world. If the world is ever going to be a better place, we've got to do all we can for the children.
In this world of high tech, they need a children's museum more than ever. The media and the game playstations that are out today tend to cause the children to just sit in one spot.
Discovery museums can be found in a number of cities across America, but here in the desert, it took a great deal of foresight and dedication to even consider this concept.
Anita Richmond came to me 20 years ago and said, we need a children's museum. We have all these things, golf courses, everything for the retired people. We have nothing for the children. Back in those days, there were a group of school teachers who were interested in doing something for the children. And eventually, Palm Desert gave us the money to rent a dentist's office that was in Rancho Mirage. It lent itself to being a trial place. And so we took the money that Palm Desert had given us and rented that home and turned it into a children's museum.
The dentist office served as a good start, but in order to truly support the thousands of children who wanted to experience the wonder, a state-of-the-art facility was needed. And that dream began to take shape in 1996, when construction began on land donated by the late Ambassador and Mrs. Annenberg, with contributions from cities and local supporters.
When I was the mayor of the city of Indian Wells, I sat on the Cove Community Public Service Commission as chairman. That commission provides a fire, paramedic, and police protection for the cities of Indian Wells, Rancho Mirage, and Palm Desert. It also subsidizes the senior centers. That commission realized that we were ignoring children's needs. And while I was chairman, we allocated $1.5 million to be used for the purposes of building a children's museum.
Rising from the desert floor like a giant bird, the building took 2 years to complete. On January 29th of 1998, all the working and waiting ended, and the doors and eyes of the desert opened for the first time.
It's a fantastic interactive place for kids to be, and she was very interested and fell in love the first time we came in. She fell in love with all the different stations and all the different places that you can play and do, and she kept on asking to come back. When I was growing up, we had museums where we lived, but nothing like this and nothing geared towards children. I feel safe with her inside these walls.
I think all children's museums are essential in a family's life these days, and that is because there's less amount of time for families to connect. There's less amount of time for them to have leisure time together, to learn from each other.
I really like it here. I really like it. I think it's about one of the most funnest places I've ever been.
I believe the Children's Discovery Museum of the Desert is able to add to or augment the educational process, the one that we know in the schools and libraries, etc., that we're a player in the way that we can bring about a more unstructured level of learning through play.
The Children's Discovery Museum of the Desert has grown in leaps and bounds in the last 20 years. From a few hundred visitors in that first year, mostly from the Valley, today the museum plays host to over 70,000 visitors a year, over 500,000 in the last 8 years.
We live in a world where it's not easy to get families to take time and do things together, and this museum allows families to come and enjoy and, basically be children of all ages.
It's a great opportunity to have your child expand their hands-on. They learn a variety of different things, from money counting in the pizzeria to a pet shop taking care of animals, which is one of Sarah's favorites.
The museum helps children learn how to share. giving parents and grandparents a chance to meaningfully interact with them.
My husband Googled things to do in the Palm Springs area for my grandson, but it turns out that his other set of grandparents already knew about this place anyway. I think it's the most important thing myself. What I find is that the kids that we get tend to spend their whole lives in front of the TV, and their parents seem to think if they're sitting in front of children's shows it's okay because they're, the shows are harmless, but what you end up with is bumps on a lot of kids.
While the museum exhibits are designed for the younger children, the staff has developed volunteer programs that allow local preteens and teens to continue growing and learning, adding responsibility to their list of skills.
I started participating in the museum about when I was 4 or 5, and then I started coming until I was about 8 or 9, and then I became a volunteer. It's important for me to be a volunteer because they've done a lot for me. Now it's my turn to pay them back.
The more I'm here, the more I take with me, and every time you're here you have a chance to grow and learn from the kids, learn about yourself, and so I just come back summer after summer.
The volunteer program includes many retired members of the community who share their wisdom and youthful enthusiasm with whomever they touch.
It's a very important part of my life. They're my extended family here, and I enjoy being with them. And it's such a positive place. All the volunteers have special reasons to be here, and some of them just like to be around children. It's a little bit the way I feel.
An outstanding educational experience for the children, a safe and secure environment for parents to share special moments, plus programs for seniors and young adults.
This Children's Discovery Museum is obviously unique. It's been rated nationally, it's been rated in California. We are the #2 museum for children in the whole state of California, and that's because of the kinds of displays that we have. We have an organization from the South that designed all of our displays called Hands On. They're probably the foremost designer of interactive displays for children's museums, and those displays that we have are so unique to any other museum that it's one reason why we really do stand out.
The final piece of the museum's design puzzle was completed recently. The mural wall is just one more unique aspect of this museum.
The mural is entitled The Eyes of Discovery. This is the last remaining piece to complete the original museum design. This concept was actually included in the initial phase of the museum, and because of funding issues, we were not able to go forward. And finally, after almost 8 years, through the hard work of a number of individuals, we have now created our mural. The unique part about it is it's made up of over 4,000 individual tiles, and on each tile is intended to be a portrait. It's a chance to honor and recognize people that meant something special.
This museum is an extremely special, important thing in this valley. We don't have a lot of things because we're growing so rapidly that this is one of its kind.
One of a kind, a rare and precious gift. The Children's Discovery Museum of the Desert is all that and much more. In this all too complicated and stressful world, it's a safe haven. It's a place where parents can focus on sharing and learning with and for the children.
Children's Discovery Museum is a wonderful place to come. It's always a happy place to come. I mean, you watch children dip their brush into paint and slap it on a Volkswagen and just go every color, every which way. You can't help but laugh and watch that. It's they're having the best time of their life, and those who watch are too.